Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of light and secret knowledge wherever you may be, you are listening to Points of Light Radio, the podcast dedicated to taking you past the apron and behind the closed doors of lodges everywhere. And here is your host, Stan Miller.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Ad Nastana. It's a blessing and a pleasure to be fellowshipping with you and my guests here once again on Points of Light Radio. And it's also a pleasure to be featuring an organization that I have been wanting to revisit since I featured them on December 2nd of 2022. And that organization is the Vasa Order of America. Just to briefly recap, the Vasa Order of America was established in 1896 in New Haven, Connecticut, at the height of Swedish immigration into the United States. Their goal is to perpetuate the noble heritage of their forefathers and to foster Nordic cultural activities by encouragement and example to their members. And here to shed light on the Vasa Order is John Hanright. He is the Grandmaster of the Vasa Order of America. This is going to be a pleasure revisiting them. But let me ask you again, are you still thirsty for knowledge? Are you still searching for the light? Then you just trim your lamp and follow me. Mr. Hanright, welcome to Points of Light Radio.
How are you? Nice to meet you.
You are the Grand Master of the Vasa Order of America.
I am.
Yeah. Why don't you tell my listeners and viewers about yourself, first of all?
Okay. Well, the Vasa Order of America is a Scandinavian fraternal order. We were incorporated in 1896. We have lodges throughout the United States, Canada, and Sweden. I am married to a Swedish woman from Gothenburg, Sweden, and I joined the Vasa Order in the late 1990s and worked my way up through the ranks and volunteered my services and time over the years and aspired to become a member of the Grand Lodge and ultimately became elected to be the Grand Master. So it's a 4-year term. I'm about a year and a half into my 4-year term, and I'm having a good time.
So you do have a Grand Lodge within the Vasa Order.
Yeah, so let me give you a little Vasa 101 just so we put everything in perspective. So we have local lodges, so much like a Masonic lodge or Knights of Columbus, we have lodges in local communities. So I'll give you, for instance, New Jersey. New Jersey, we have 12 local lodges that are spread out across our state. We take those 12 lodges, and in order to have them all become cohesive, we take a few delegates from each local lodge and we send them to an annual meeting, and we call that the district lodge. So the District of New Jersey is made up of those 12 lodges. We have district lodges that are comprised of groupings of local lodges in different geographical regions. We have them in Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and so on. Across the country, we have one in Edmonton. We have 2 in Sweden. So in order to link all the district lodges together, we take a few representatives from each district lodge, and we meet once every 4 years, and we have what we call the Grand Lodge. So it's really a bottom-up organization. The local lodge is your most active lodge. That's where you go to your monthly meetings and such. And the local lodges are knitted together in a geographical section of the country by the district lodge, and then all of the lodges throughout the whole organization are knitted together through the Grand Lodge. So those are the different tiers of the Vasa Order. And I've been a chairman of my local lodge. I've been a chairman of my district lodge, and now I'm the chairman of the Grand Lodge.
So, what are your duties as Grandmaster? Do you visit all the different lodges?
I visit all the different lodges across the country during my term as often as I can. I travel quite a bit, my wife and I, and we go out and to all the district lodges. We do a lot of administrative work. So each lodge has a chairman, a treasurer, a secretary, and the usual offices that any club or fraternal order would have. And we have scholarship programs, we have cultural programs and those types of things. So the Grand Lodge has a scholarship program. We have a benefit fund. We manage the funds of the organization as a whole. So the Grand Lodge, we do more administrative work than the other lodges and the local lodges. They're more based in the cultural stuff and going on outings and having fun and more social activity. The Grand Lodge is more of an administrative branch. We take care of insurance and finances and that kind of stuff.
So, where would the Vasa Lodge meet, shall we say, where you are?
The Vasa Lodge, well, that's an interesting question. So in New Jersey, in the district in New Jersey, we own a parcel of land in Mount Olive in Morris County, and we bought it in 1936. And we have 125 acres there, 86 residential homes. We have a big recreation park there with a dance hall and a big facility with kitchens and bathrooms. And we have a clubhouse, a big pool. So a lot of the lodges that are local to our area right here in northern New Jersey meet there at Vasa Park, it's called. A lot of lodges meet we'll meet at a Knights of Columbus hall, or we'll meet at a Masonic hall, or we'll rent a church meeting room or something like that. But generally speaking, it's usually a church or some other fraternal order meeting hall, and then we'll rent it and have our monthly meetings there.
Okay, so you meet monthly, and how long would a meeting be?
Usually about 2 hours. They usually have a business meeting where they'll take care of any fundraising activities they're doing, planning for cultural events, and then they usually have something to eat and have a social hour after that. But we almost always have some type of a cultural presentation during our meetings. That's primarily the mission statement of our organization, is to promote Swedish and Scandinavian culture. Scandinavian more nowadays than just Swedish. It used to be a lot more centered on the Swedish population, but now more and more we have a lot of Norwegians and Danes, Finns. So it's all 5 of the Nordic countries that we celebrate.
Well, what drew you to the Vasa Order? Your family from one of the Nordic countries?
My lovely wife drew me to it. Actually, I'm Swedish. But I do have some Swedish heritage in my blood. I have an 8th great-grandfather that came in through New Sweden. My father's Scottish. He was born and raised in the U.S., but his heritage is Scottish. His mother was born in Paisley, and so their influence. They have a very heavy Viking influence that goes way back. So I have a little bit of Viking influence. My wife is actually Swedish. She's still a Swedish citizen. She's from Gothenburg. We spent quite a bit of time over there, and that was what drew me to it.
And what would you say the makeup of your lodge is? Young, old, men, women? What?
Well, it's older. So a lot of the membership ends up, you come into it, hey, you're mid to late 30s, maybe 40s. We find that age group, the children are a little bit older. They have a little bit more expendable time to go and do these types of things. And a lot of them stay on until they pass away. We have a lot of children's clubs, and we have a lot of children that become very active. And then when they hit college age, they grow away from the organization. They go to school, they get married and have families, and we kind of lose them for a little while. And then they circle back around when they start having children and getting a little back into that age group, and then they come back into it again. But it's predominantly older than younger, more older than younger.
Oh, okay. And how, but by the way, how is the organization doing membership wise?
In our heyday, and in the early years of it, it was a support mechanism for immigrants who were coming into the country from the Nordic countries. So you could find people from Scandinavia that had come to the United States, and they would help you assimilate into society, help you through language barrier issues, find work, that kind of thing. Later into the 50s and 60s, it was much more social and cultural based, and our head counts were 50, 60,000 members. It's dwindled since then. The world's become more of a melting pot. A lot of fraternal orders have dwindled in membership, and I think right now we're right around 10,000 people.
Okay.
We're still very viable. We're incorporated in the state of Connecticut. That's where our charter is, our base charter is held.
Now, what has membership in the Vasa Order done for you?
For me, it's mostly, well, I started mostly because of the cultural aspect. I got very involved with the Swedish folk music and folk dancing. I got heavily involved and ingrained into that music scene. And it's more of the friendship and the fellowship and the people that I've met. It's broadened my horizons, and it's really enriched my life a lot to have made as many friends as I have that I probably wouldn't have made otherwise. And it's what keeps me so involved.
Well, Mr. Hanright, I appreciate your time today, and all the best to you and the Vasa Order of America.
So I have an interesting thing I'll share with you if we have just one more minute. Out here at Vasa Park in New Jersey, we have this park that I described to you, and a group of people came to me that raised money for homeless veterans here in New Jersey. So I offered the use of the Vasa Park to them, and we hold a summer festival for a fundraising event to help homeless veterans, medical reasons, whatever reason, to get them off the street and help to get them back on track. And it's all volunteer, and a group of guys that run it, I got to know real good. And it was amazing how well we all worked together. And I started to look around, and my light bulb turned on, so to speak. And the guy who founded it is in the Knights of Columbus. And his right-hand man is in Masonic Order. And their right-hand girl is from an Elks Club. And as it turns out, there's about 15 of these core members that make up this group of people, and we're all from different fraternal orders. And the like-mindedness of all these volunteers that are from these different fraternal orders, and how we all meshed together and came together as a cohesive group is really remarkable. The mindset of generosity and truth and unity, those types of things that you find in a lot of fraternal orders, really shone through. And it's a remarkable group of individuals from a variety of fraternal orders. We hold this festival annually. It's done fantastic. And we've taken a lot of homeless veterans off the street and gotten them back on their track on their life. So it's a very rewarding thing.
Well, that's wonderful, and like I said, it's good to hear that these organizations are working together. And I keep up the good work, sir, and all the best to you and the organization.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye. John Hanright, brothers and sisters, shedding some light on the Vasa Order of America. And what a fun conversation! I love how it unfolded. Right. I'm going to ask you again, have you ever heard of the Vasa Order before you heard them here on Points of Light Radio? Had you ever heard of them? Right? Right? They've got quite an extensive network of, lodges and so on that across all across North America. I'm going to enclose a link to their website here in the details section of this podcast. Right, but I love how the Vasa Order continues to thrive, right? They're keeping this organization relevant and alive, and I think that's wonderful, right? But that's all I have time for today. Before I go, I want to remind you that this podcast is available on both YouTube and Spreaker. Please share, like, and subscribe when viewing Points of Light Radio on YouTube. I also welcome your comments and your input. You can follow Points of Light Radio on my Facebook page at facebook.com/Points of Light Radio. My Twitter handle is at PO Light Radio. You can see the link to my Spotify channel as well. And also my Points of Light Radio store. Brothers and sisters, it's been a pleasure fellowshipping with you as well as my guest here again today. Until we meet again, just step into the light.